And welcome back to the Right Hour on the Right Talk Radio Network. I'm Paul Weyrich, and my guest this segment is Professor Christopher Warden of the Hall School of Journalism in Troy University in Troy, Alabama. He and I have something in common in that we both were in print journalism. We both did electronic journalism, and we both worked on the Hill. So although we're only getting acquainted now, why I feel sort of as if I know you, Professor.
Feeling is mutual, sir. How are you?
All right. What I want to talk to you about is something kind of serious.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if it weren't so serious, we could make a lot of jokes about it. But what concerns me terribly is not just that we don't really have journalists the way that you and I understood the term anymore, but that we have entertainers now. But what really concerns me is the abysmal understanding of these people about economics. I mean, they have no idea how things operate in the private sector, and they are putting out stuff day after day after day, which is so far from reality that I'm amazed, frankly, that anybody conservative can get elected under these circumstances.
Right. Well, that's been one of my concerns since I worked for Stan Evans, the National Journalism Center, and he's the one who sort of turned me on to looking at things economically. And the sad truth of it is that economics, if you just apply a little common sense, is fairly easy to understand. But the media just don't, they think it's dry, dismal, boring, whatever, it has math in it, whatever. And so they don't take the time to even think about things. And I would submit that if they did and understood the way the world works, they would have some great stories to cover and make a name for themselves, but they don't do it. And, for instance, the Medicare system, the way it's set up, it guarantees that there's going to be rationing for older people. Well, rationing of health care is not a light subject. I mean, that can lead to death. And a government program causes death sounds like a great headline, but you never see that. And that's due in great part because of the ignorance of economics.
Professor Jim Boulay here. I'm wondering if too many journalists go to law school. And by that I mean when we've had our problem with the gas thing and we hear, well, why don't we sue Saudi Arabia and bring the prices down?
Right. That's one of the biggest misreported stories currently going. I mean, the whole gas price question, I mean, they'll take it only so far and not understand the real roots of it. And as a consequence, the public, sit here left trying to figure out who to blame, and the greedy oil companies. Is it Saudi Arabia? Is it the Republicans? And the sad fact is that again, government policy has led to this supply crunch, and of course the price goes up when you have tight supplies, but that doesn't get reported.
Well, what do we need to do to get back to a time when at least there would be some people that could properly explain things? I mean, even Fox, which attempts to do a halfway decent job on some of this stuff, but even there, a lot of the people they have on that discuss economics, I just shake my head.
Yeah. Well, again, it's this sort of mindset that it's not for me. I'm a writer, but the way to address it, and I think Stan started it, and I've been trying to continue it at Troy University, is to expose young journalists or aspiring journalists to the basics of economics and let them sort of figure out things for themselves and understanding, like, for instance, the pricing mechanism, they're able to then go out and, do better works in doing their stories. I've taken its concern sort of to another level. I've written a short book that I hope will be adopted by from other colleges or high schools or whatever on journalists or economics for journalists. And again, I treat it for real common sense. There's no jargon. There's no equilibrium pricing and elasticity and all the other good buzzwords. It's just basic common sense on different things. And with that, I hope that younger journalists and maybe even some veterans might get a clue as to what's going on in the world and start reporting better.
I was not familiar with Troy. What kind of an outreach do you have now, and what are your plans for the future?
Well, Troy University is a sort of multi-branch university centered in Alabama. We've got about 30,000 students worldwide. We have campuses and branches all over the place. And it's a liberal arts school. What we at the Hall School try to do, we're about 32 or 3 years old now, and we've had some 1,200 graduates go through there. And most of them, go into the communication business, whether it's the reporting or the public relations. But even the public relations students that we have, I have tried to impress upon them that, if you're working for a company or a nonprofit or a hospital or whatever, and you've got to promote a product, you better understand how it works and the marketplace is working around that product, or you're not going to do a very good job. So, at a local or at my level, that's kind of what we do. We'd love to. We started up a Center for Business or Economic and Business Development at the university, which we're trying to go state and regional wide with to market our name, of course, but also to just get more economic information in the hands of people. And as a consequence, I think, we're becoming known, at least in the state, as a pretty good journalism program and pretty solid economically too. So that's a plus, I think.